Good morning. As we start the Chita today today is Thursday, the fifth reading in the portion of Bamidbar. We are holding in the book of Bamidbar, chapter 3, verse number 14. Vayidaba Hashem al Moshe b'Midbar Sinai, and God spoke to Moses in the desert of Sinai, Lamer, saying, Daber, Daber Kedes b'nei Levi, count the children of Levi, Leveis Avesam, to the father's home, Mishpachesam, to the families, Kol Zachar, every male, mi ben Chodesh Mamayla Tifkadem, every male from a month and above, you should count them. So the tribe of Levi is counted from 30 days and above. So Rashi says when they're no longer in the category of possible premature birth. That's why also we paid the child after 30 days, because the first 30 days he's a questionable, if it's a questionable viability, God forbid. Amar Rabbi Yehuda ben Rabbi Shalom. Rabbi Yehuda ben Shalom taught us that this tribe is accustomed to being counted from the womb. As it says, whom she bore to Levi in Egypt, as she entered the gates of Egypt. She had a child, Yocheved had a child. It was called Levi. Yet Yocheved was counted as one of, she bore a child, her Yocheved. Levi had a child, it was named Yocheved. It was Moshe Rabbeinu's mother. And she, Yocheved, was counted as one of the 70 souls. Even though she was still she was born in the, as coming into the gates of Egypt. For if you count the total, you'll find only 69, but she completed the number. So the sage said, Rabbi Yehuda said that the tribe of Levi is a special tribe. They are special from the womb of the mother. Verse 16, Vayifked Isa Moshe al pi Hashem. So Moshe Rabbeinu counted them al pi Hashem according to the word of God, kashetziva, like he was commanded. So we find an interesting expression over here, al pi Hashem, because how do you count a month-year-old? They're all in their mother's homes. So you have to go to the houses. Moshe said to the Holy One, blessed be, how can I enter the tents to know the number of their suckling? They're busy. They're babies. I'm going to go to the house. I'm going to bother the mothers. The Holy One, blessed be, replied, you do yours and I'll do mine. Moshe went and stood by the entrance of the tent, and the divine presence preceded him. A heavenly voice then emanated from the tent, saying, there are this many babies in the tent. That's why it says Al Pi Hashem. So they were counted. They went and stood by the tent. They could have had 10 children in the tent. A voice came out and said, in this tent there's 5 children. In this tent there's 1 child. In this tent there's 12 children. And that's how it counted, because the children of Levi were counted from a month and above. So it was a different count. Vayibnei Levi, and the children of Levi were b'shmoisam, their families was Gershon, Kahas, Umaradi. Those are the 3 children of Levi: Gershon, Kahas, and Merari. These are the children of Gershon to their families: Livni, Vishimi. Ubnei Kas, and the children of Kas, Mishpachesam, Amram. This is Moshe Rabbeinu's father. V'yitzar, Chevra, v'Ziel. B'nei Merari, the children of Merari, Mishpachesam, Machli, Umushi. Eilahem, Mishpachesam, Levi, Leveis Avesam. These are the children of Levi. So we go to each family. Verse 21, Legesh Mishpachas Livni, Mishpachas Mushi. Eilahem, Mishpachas Gershuni. Rashi said this to say Gershon, who's counted were the Livnite family and Shimnich family. The numbers were so many and so many. To these two families were Pegudeim Shevas Alafim v'Chamesh Meis. From the age of 1 month and onward was a total of 7,500. So the Mishpachas HaGeshni Acha Mishkan Yachni Yoma. The Gershon family, they dwelled on the backside of the Beis Hamikdash. Like today, the Western Wall. When you see HaGeshni of Gershni Eliyasav ben Loel, the prince of the house of Gershon was Eliyasav ben Loel. Because each one, as the Torah continues, verse 25, Mushmeres began Gershon, and the charge of the sons of Gershon, what was their job in the tent of meeting? HaMishkan, V'hoyel, Mirseyu, Masa Pesach. Their job was the actual Mishkan. I'm sorry, the Mishkan, which Rashi says, the Yediyas HaTachtenis, the bottom curtains. Ha'oyel, this was the Yediyas HaIzim, the middle curtain that was made for the roof, that it shouldn't rain in. Mirseyu was the upper curtain. Masach Pesach Hayomid, and then the curtain of the tent of meeting. So they came in, they took over all these curtains first, all these coverings. And then they took the hangings of the of the chotzer. Masach Pesach Sarachatzer, the screen of the entrance of the Beis Hamikdash Mishkan. Asher al Mishkan v'al Mizbeach Saviv v'es Misreisav l'chol avadeisav, which is around the Mishkan, the altar, and its ropes, and all of the work that was all the coverings and the walls of the chutzner, of the courtyard of the Mishkan, and that was their job. So that was the first job. If you wanted to take apart the Mishkan, you had to take off its coverings and its doors, covering of the doors, and the kalei chutzner, and to take away the curtains of the chutzner. The Kahas into the family Kahas was Mishpachas Amri, Mishpachas HaYitzri, family of Amri, the family Yitzri, Mishpachas HaCharveni, the family of Charveni, Mishpachas HaZevi, and the family of Zevi. Eilahem Mishpachas HaKos. Mishpachas HaKabech Shalom Maila, verse 28. For the counting of every son for a month and above, Shmeinas Alafim, they had 8,000. Yeshei Shmeias and 600. Shemei Mishmeres HaKedesh, the keepers of the charge of the holy. Mishpachas HaKos Yachna Yerech HaMizbeach Teimon. The family of Kos, they camped on the south side of the Mishkan. So Rashi says Mishpachas HaKosi was in the south side of the Mishkan. Near them was the division of Reuven. Near them was the tribe of Reuven, which also lived on the south side. So they were closer to Reuven's camp. And the Gemara says, woe is to the wicked, woe is to his neighbor. This explains why Dosel Avrim, the 250 men of Kairach, went against Moshe Rabbeinu. So woe is to your neighbor. So the Eibishter put, by some reason, he put Kairach near Dosel Avrim, and they created this whole. In the couple of weeks, you're going to have Parshas Kairach. The whole fight with Moshe Rabbeinu all started off because these people living together decided to have, street talk, whatever you want to call it. They sit on their stoops and they had conversations and brought about this whole situation. So that's what we learned from it. Nasi based off the Mishpachos HaKahasi. And the prince of the father, the house of Kahas, was El-Tzafam ben Uziel. Or Mishmartim. That's where you see that Kairach and Kahas was a very special part of the tribe of Levi. They were given the most prized part of the work of the Mishkan. It's the Arein v'Shulchan v'Ameneda. They took care of the Arein, the ark, the table of bread, the bread table, the Meneda, HaMizbechos, and the altar is V'Kli HaKodesh. They took care of the most important part of the Mishkan. They were given the most prized job in the Beis Hamikdash, but they were not happy. Ultimately, Korach was still not happy. In the screening and all its work. So what's that? Masach. This refers to the dividing curtain, the entry of Holy of Holies. So the Kahas took care of the Klei Hamikdash and also the curtain in front of the Holy of Holies. So we're missing one family, which is going to be later. Nasi Levi. The Nasi of the tribe of Levi was Eliezer ben Aaron HaKohen. Was Eliezer the son of Aaron HaKohen? Kuda Shem Shveres HaKodesh. He was like their manager that took care of that, made sure that each one did what was supposed to do. So actually, he was appointed over them all. In what regard was he the prince over them? The appointment of all keepers of charge of the holy, that they were appointed by him. The Merari Mishpachas HaMachli, into the family of Merari, was Mishpachas HaMachli and Mishpachas HaMushi. Pasha, why does it mention over here Eliezer? Because to go into the Holy of Holies and to do this you had to have Eliezer, the Kohen. Merari Mishpachas HaMerari, verse number 33, Mishpachas HaMachli and Mishpachas HaMushi. To Merari was Malmachli, the family of Mushi. Mishpachas HaMerari. The counting of the tribe of Merari was Ben Chedesh Shamayla Sheish Alofim, and Messiah was 6,200. Nasi Beis Mishpachas HaMerari. And the prince of the house of Merari was Tzuriel ben Avichayel. Tzuriel, the son of Avichayel, Ayerach HaMizbeah HaMishkan Yachlu Tzufeina. They resided on the north side of the Mishkan. Kudush Mishmeres Merari, and what was the job of the Meraris? Was Kasha Mishkan. They took care of the walls of the Beis Hamikdash, Blichav, Amudav, all its planks and all its bars, Adanav, all its sockets, all its utensils and all the work. They took care of all the pillars surrounding the courtyard. The curtain was taken care of Gershon. Gershon took care of the curtain, but they took care of the actual poles. So they did actually all the heavy work. The real heavy work was the tribe of Merari. That's why someplace they were called Merari. They were bitter. They were a little bitter from receiving the hard labor. Mishkan Keba, the Fnei Meir camping in front of the Mishkan. In the front of the tent of meeting, they were in the front. They were in the front of the Mishkan, in the east side, in the entrance to the Mishkan, which was to the east. I'm sorry, Mishkan Kedma. They were on the north. So Mishkan Kedma, who was in front of the Mishkan, who encamped in front of the Mishkan, which the east side was Moshe, Aaron, Avanim, Shem, Mishmeres HaKodesh. The people that were camped in front of the Mishkan was Moshe Rabbeinu at his tent there, and Aaron HaKohen and his brother, Uvanav and his children. They were the protectors, Mishmeres HaKodesh, to the watching of the Mishkan, the Mishmeres Bnei Yisrael, to make sure to protect the Jew from coming into the Mishkan. V'azar HaKodev Yumis, and if any Jew that came to do any of the work in the Mishkan, whether it's while the Mishkan was standing or taking it down, was the opposite of life. So Rashi says they were to the east side of the Mishkan. Near them was the vision camp of Yehuda. That's where the front of the traveling was the front of the Mishkan, the east side. And that where Yehuda, the tribe of Yehuda, was Yehuda, Yisachar. That's why Yisachar, all the Talmidei Chachamim came from Yisachar, because they were right next to Moshe Rabbeinu and next to the camp of Yisachar and Zevulun. It is good for the righteous, it is good for the neighbor. Because of the neighbor of Moshe, they were engaged in the study of Torah, and they became great Torah scholars from the tribe, especially from the tribe of Yisachar, became great Torah scholars because they were right next to Moshe Rabbeinu, and they used to always hang around the learning of Torah. So great to a good neighbor, and great to the one who is his neighbor. As it says, Yehuda is my lawgiver. The descendants of Yisachar were those who understood the times. there were 200 heads of Sanhedrin, and Zevulun came great scribes, out of the tribe of Zulum, also great businessmen, came out of the tribe of Zevulun, and they for 40 years. Don't forget, these are 40 years. The Jewish people traveled 40 years in the desert. So for 40 years, Yehuda and Yisachar and Zvulun, those three tribes are right by Moshe Rabbeinu, and they enjoyed that closeness to Moshe Rabbeinu, and it affected their tribes that they became great scholars and great leaders. Verse 39, Kol Pekudai Alavim. If you count all the Levim, all the three families, Asher Pakad Moshe V'Aaron, which Moshe and Aaron counted, Al Pi Hashem in the mouth of God, the Mishpachaisam, to the families, Kol Zachar and Chedesh Amayla, everyone who's from a month and above, Shnayim V'Esem Elef, 22,000. Actually, the tribe of Levim was a small tribe, 22,000. That's all they had. It's the smallest tribe in the tribes of the Jewish nation. They're dotted over the word Aaron. You see the word Aaron, there's a dot on every letter to show that he was not included in the sum of the Levim. So Aaron and his sons were not counted, even though Aaron was a Levi. Aaron also was from the tribe of Levi. He was a brother of Moshe. Tribe of Levi, but Aaron was not counted. So Rashi says, if you count them up, there's a little mistake over here in the counting, seemingly. But when you count them individually, you'll find that the 300, another 300, the descendants of Gershon was 7,500. The descendants of Kos were 8,600. The descendants of Merari was 6,200. Why not included? Why were they not included in the rest of to redeem the firstborn? Thus exempting 273 firstborns who were in excess of the number of Levi from redemption, because as the Torah says, he takes the Levium instead of the firstborn, so you have an extra 300 firstborn. Our sages in Tractate Brachas answered that the 300 Levites were firstborn, and it was enough that they were exempt themselves from redemption. So that's the 300. The 300 Levium, this is an interesting number for all the Levium. The 300 Levium that was extra was the firstborn of the Shevet Levi. So therefore, they were not redeemed. They didn't redeem the Shevet Levi because they were firstborn themselves. So that's how you have exactly why there's missing 300 in the count. And that completes the Chumash of today. We now start chapter 53, the last chapter in the first part of the Tanya. Likutei Amorim Sefer Beinanim. 53 chapters. We are holding the last chapter, the 53rd chapter of the Tanya. And the Alter Rebbe is explaining Seder Hashtalshelus, the way godliness comes into the world. And he explained, everything comes through the wisdom of every world. So first it starts, Ein Sof comes into Chochmah D'Atzilus, the wisdom of the world of emanation, which then comes into Malchus of that world, which becomes the Chochmah of the world of creation. That comes into the Malchus of the world of creation, which becomes the wisdom of the world of emanation, of formation, which goes into Malchus, which is the Shechina of the world of formation, which comes the wisdom of the world of action, which clothes itself in Malchus of the world of action, which from that ultimately comes into a physical reality. The Alter Rebbe says Malchus, Shechina, which we call the Shechina, the presence of God. The presence of God from the Shechina, from Malchus itself, would not be able to come into the world, because even Malchus, the kingship of the world of Asiya, the light of God is too big. So that's why everything comes from Chachma. The Eibishter created the world through the Torah. So it says, the Eibush looked in the Torah and he created the world. What does that mean? That the Torah is the blueprint of the world. So Chassidus Kabbalah explains means that the Torah is the malbish of the world. The Torah is the garment. The Torah is the garment which is higher than Malchus, when Malchus, right? It's higher than the concept of kingship because it's the wisdom of God. And therefore, the Eibishter created a garment. In his Chachma, he created this garment that would be able to hold the light, and it would be able to give the light. And that is the concept. The Levushim is the Ratzon and the Chachma of the Eibishter. The Ratzon is the mitzvah, and the Chachma is the Torah. And that ultimately comes into the world. And then the Eibishter said, through the Torah, that's why you understand now why the Eibishter gives up, the Torah gives up so much space for the building of the Mishkan. For the building of the Mishkan, for that there should be v'shachanti b'seicha, that there should be a revelation of God into the world, into a physical bais, into a physical tabernacle, into a physical Beis HaMikdash, needs to be extremely expressed, and extremely expressed through the Torah, how this physical Arein and Menorah and Mizbeach and a Mishkan could be able to be the garments, and that the Shras HaShechina, the presence of God, could be revealed in this place. So V'hinei, so the Alter Rebbe starts this 53rd chapter. V'hinei kishahoya beis Yishan Kayim, in the time of the first temple, Shlomo HaMelech, who built the first temple, David and Shlomo, Shaboy haya Arein, that the Arein was in it. So first of all, you should know the Mishkan, which Moshe Rabbeinu built, is Nitzchis. The Gemara says the Mishkan that Moshe Rabbeinu built was never destroyed. It's hidden somewhere. It's somewhere. The whole Mishkan, everything that Moshe Rabbeinu made is hidden somewhere. It's Nitzchis. It's everlasting. It's somewhere hidden. One day, when Mashiach comes, we'll be able to see this Mishkan. But then ultimately, David HaMelech built the Beis HaMikdash. And in this Beis HaMikdash, Shlomo HaMelech made all the utensils. Haya Arein v'Aluchos, Beis Kachim Kachim, everything was there. Hoysa Shechina, She Malchus Datzilas. That means what happened was the Shechina, which is Malchus Datzilas, that is the revealed light of Ein Sof Baruch Hu, a light which is intrinsically infinite and transcends all worlds, and which is nevertheless revealed in them. So we had the Ashras HaShechina, we had the Shechina of Malchus Datzilas, revealed, ultimately come through Bria, Yetzirah, and Asiyah, and come into this Mishkan. Shayrasham was dwelled there, and clothed itself in the Ten Commandments. It came into the Adarim, which was engraved upon the tablets found in the Ark of the Holy of Holies. So it came into the Beis HaMikdash, into this building. Far more intensely. It was revealed in this Beis HaMikdash. Was a revelation of God, even greater than the world of Atzilus itself. So this refers to the world of Asiyah and Yetzirah. For even the world of Yetzirah, the Shechina illuminates only insofar as previously closed itself in the shrine of a holy world in the world of Bria. The level of Shechina manifest in the first temple, however, though it was manifest only through having first been clothed in the Malchus of Bria, was less completely concealed. Even after this concealment, therefore, the illumination of the first temple was still on the level of the world of Bria, not the Yetzirah. Alter Rebbe now answers the follows question: so much as a temple is located in this physical world, how is it possible for the Shekhinah to be found there to a higher degree than the upper worlds? He answers, The Ten Commandments are all embracing principles of the entire Torah, as explained in the Azharot of Rav Saadia Gaon. The Ten Commandments incorporate all 613 of the Torah. It incorporates the entire Torah. Actually, the first two commandments. Anech Hashem Elokecha incorporate the entire all positive commandments. And you shall not have another God incorporate all negative commandments. And the truth is, Chassidus says the whole thing is an Anochi. And really, the whole entire thing is in the letter Aleph, Aluf Shalom, God. The Nafke Migay Chachmei, because this whole the whole Torah, the Ten Commandments, are derived from the level of Spirit of Chachma, which is Chachma Datzilas. This guy, which is far higher than the world of manifestation, the world of Malchus. It is far higher than the world of it's far higher than Malchus of Atzilus, which is called the world of manifestation, as we explained, because it reveals the light of Ein Sof in this world. So as explained earlier, for this reason, the Torah is able to act as a garment that does not become nullified to the light of the Shekhinah, which guards itself in its, since its source is higher than the Shekhinah. However, in order for it to act as a concealed garment, it must descend lower than the level of the Shekhinah, thereby enabling the light of the Shekhinah to be received by the created beings. So that's why the Torah is compared to water, which comes down even lower. So something that not in a way, that something that it comes from very high comes very low. However, as a Torah descended in the Ten Commandments and engraved on the tablets in a physical thing, not just the concept of 10 philosophies, it did not do so in a manner that would make it similar to other physical things. Rather, soon explained, it remained on the level which is higher than previous mentioned upper worlds. How did that happen? In a physical way. How do we see this in a physical way? In order to engrave them on a material tablets of stone, Spirit of Chachma, which is the Torah, did not descend by degree by degree. By parallel of to order descent of the worlds, which descends by stage from a higher world to a lower world, until it reached this material world. Listen to this carefully. Generally, in order to flow divine light to arrive in this physical world, it must first descend from world to world. It has to go from Chachma of Atzilus to Malchus Atzilus, to Chachma of the world of creation, to the Malchus of the world of creation, to the wisdom of the world of formation, to the Malchus. It has to travel from level to level. That's the way Seder Shtalshelus goes. So that's the way it usually goes. It must descend from the world to world, coming down through the world of Yetzirah and the spiritual Asiyah, both of which are higher than the ultimate destination, this world. Even the world of Asiyah is not yet this world. It's the beginning of this world. This is not, however, the situation with the tablets. The tablets were physical but spiritual at the same moment, which meant that it jumped all the worlds. It was not in a normal progression. It was a concept of Ein Sof coming into the world, and that's why the tablets were like a miraculous physical thing. If the tablets were like the regular concept of the way the Torah comes into the world, the way God comes into the world, then it would not be a miraculous thing. But the tablets were a miraculous thing in many ways. Okay, because ultimately, the way the Torah is written, the Torah is written on parchment and ink through normal concepts of this world. but not the luchos. Haluchos ma'aseh elikim ema. The luchos, especially both luchos, were the ma'aseh elikim. They were the work of God, divine creation in which godliness, not nature, is revealed. Va'michtav michtav elikimu, and the writing was the writing of God. What does that mean? These tablets were beyond the nature of this material world, which derived from the radiance of the Shekhinah in the shrine of the Holy of Holies, Asiya. It was not from the world of Malchus Asiya. These tablets were not from from the world of Asiya that came down into this world. Because that's the regular Hishtalt descent from the world. This whole world comes from Malchus Asiya. Because the whole world comes from the world of action, which means the ray of the Shekhinah, which in the shrines in the Holy of Holies in Asiya, in the wisdom of Asiya, gives the physical world its vitality after being God, the Malchus of Asiya, as explained earlier. This is not the case with the tablets. The tablets are bechinas chochmei la datzilas. The tablets. That's why, again, you have to realize, Mitzshem, you're going to come out wherever you are. You're going to go on Sunday to shul. You're going to hear the giving of the Ten Commandments. Hopefully, you'll have a different understanding what this means. The giving of the luchos. The luchos was Malchus Datzilus in this world. More than that, the luchos was Chachma Datzilus in this world. But the level of superb Chachma Datzilus consisting of the totality of the Torah should be encapsulated in 10 Commandments. The Slapshim of Malchus Datzilus Dodriya Levadan, it jumped from the world of Atzilus and Bria and jumped into these tablets, and did not close itself into any lower of the world, Atzilus, Bria, Yitzira. So it went straight from the world of Atzilus and the world of Bria, which is the world of understanding, right? The world of Chachma. Still, Olam HaBria, we explained before, is still the world of knowledge. And it went straight into these physical tablets. And they alone, Chachma Atzilus, as it grabbed the Malchus Atzilus, and Malchus the Bria, without further vestments, united as they were with the infinite light of the Ein Sof that is within them. Hein Nikroi B'Shem Shechina. That is referred to the Shechina, which rests in the Holy of Holies in the first temple. Through that, in the first temple was the Aron, which the Aron had the two tablets, which were written on these two tablets. Aseres Hadibros, which was in the Aron, in these tablets, benes, in a miraculous way. And one of the miraculous way was the letter Samach, and the circle, the letter were hung. Also, you could have read the tablets on both sides. Also, as the Torah, as it's brought down, I think that Alter Rebbe is going to bring down that the tablets had a space but didn't take any space. So the Aron had a space but took no space. That means, let's say the Aron was two amas, and the Mishka, the Holy of Holies was 20 amas. If you put it in the middle, you have to count 18 amas from both sides. You have to count 9 amas for each side. But it didn't happen that way. You counted 10 amas from each side. So that's why the Gemara says, Aron Einim Min Amida. The Arein had a space, but it didn't have a space. And that's the concept of Oirein Seif. Oirein Seif has no space. It's infinite, unlimited, and it comes into space. So that's Nimnam Nenois. That's where you see revelation of godliness within the space that's above space. So that's what the revelation of godliness in the world, only in the first temple, in the Mishkan, that they had the Aron. In the second temple, there was no Aron. They've hid the Aron before the destruction of the first temple. Maisel that's why it says Maisel. The luchos are Maisel, with the working of God. Elakim Chaim, who Alma Diskasia. This being, in terms of the spheres, Bina of Atzilus, which is known as the sealed world, which nests in the world of Bria, as known in the students of Kabbalah. So the world of Atzilus and the world of Bria were residing in these tablets. So those familiar with Kabbalah know that Bina of Atzilus radiates within the world of Bria, a world which remains the category of sealed world, meaning it's categorized as a world, but not a world whose dependent being is revealed. And that world of Bria is aware of how the whole is aware of how it's wholly dependent upon God. That's why it's the portal of angels. It's a portal of neshamas. Our neshamas come from the world of Bria. Our neshamas, which is a chelek elakam emal mamish, because it comes from the world of Bria. So even though it's not the world of Atzilus, but Bria and Atzilus and Bria are both resides, a greater concept of Oirein Seif resides in those worlds, and that ultimately came into this Aron, into these tablets. That's the portals of Matan Torah of the concept of the giving of the luchos to the Jewish people, and that's what you understand why when Moshe Rabbeinu came down and he saw what the Yidden did, he broke the tablets. Because it was a total contradiction to this concept of the way the Eibishter came into the world for Am Yisrael in such an unbelievable, miraculous way, that an infinity, that they could be able to see in a physical way a concept of Oirein Seif, which is unbelievable. And that's why you understand now why nobody went into the Holy of Holies, not even a Kohen, not even a Kohen Gadol, only once a year, etc. And that's why if the Kohen Gadol survived, the Yom Kippur service was a great celebration, because he went into a place that there was Ashras Hashchina. He went into a place where there was the presence of God. And that's why we're begging for the Beis Hamikdash to be rebuilt. But that completes the Tanya of today. Today is the third day of the month, which is in Tehillim, chapter 18, 19, 20, 21, and 22. If you do those 5 chapters, you do the chitas of the day. I want to wish you all a wonderful, beautiful day. In Mitzvah at 10 o'clock, we're going to have a class, JLI class, beautiful Sikha of the Rebbe on the portion of the week. And I welcome you all to Chabad at 10 a.m. or to Zoom, the Zoom number, or to same place on Facebook, Torah Direct at 10 a.m. And we can all learn a beautiful Sikha of the Rebbe. I wish you all a wonderful day. And in Mitzvah Hashem, I will see you all tomorrow, 8 a.m., we will continue the Chitas.